What's up, people? This is your boy Alonzo Herran Jr, producer of Royal Family Films. Listen, I'm here with the Gahhd Cast. Shout out to them for their love and support. Funny crew, come back, listen to them, support us. Check us out.
Welcome world. We got Brick City in the building today. Jersey, stand up. Shout out to the Lords of the Underground. Shout out Do It All. Shout out to brother DJ June. Shout out to brother Alonzo. Turn this up, roll your windows down. Put them back up because it's still brick.
Brick City.
Exactly.
It's gotta be the shoes, cause girlies they clap. They stand about the dock, so I say boom, shakalak. Grab the microphone, then rock. To take the truth when on the mic, I'll say anything that sounds good. Like jump and sound over some.
Ooh.
They got the hat and the mouse ran up the stairs.
That ain't make no sense. Ain't no kids.
See, never was out to get the show, so don't be trying to knock me. I say what I want to say as long as it sounds funky. Some MCs wanted to buy me, so they try to take stands. But they don't understand, I'm the motherfucking man. I demand and us down.
This beat is so nasty, yo.
And this flow that he got.
Yeah. Yeah, he's bouncing all over that shit. Rocking.
Number one, Mr. Funky. Ooh. Shout out to the Lords of the Underground. Once again, welcome world.
Yeah,
This is episode 98 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am the brother Burnz. As always, to the left of me, I got the brother VS.
Yes, to the OP. We here, man. Episode 98, 2 more. We almost at 100.
Turn that energy up, buddy.
I can't believe it. I'm ecstatic. I'm shocked.
Shout out to the brother Bludshot checking in.
Was brapping episode 98. I mean, the great. Shout out to everybody in NYC. You know, 98 is big for me. 98th Street, all the way from Riverside to Amsterdam. But we in Brick City today, you know what I mean?
Damn right. Shout out to our guest, actor, producer extraordinaire, father, proud entrepreneur. Today we got the brother Alonzo Herran Jr. in the building.
Yes.
Thank you, brother, for being here. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Alonzo's got a new movie dropping February 24th. It's called A Father's Pride. That's going to be out exclusively in the Newark Citiplex Theater. So anybody in Newark and Jersey, Hudson County, hit up the brother Alonzo at H Royal Family on Instagram. Get your tickets. Be there for this exclusive drop. If you can't make it that day, it will be out on streaming services shortly after. If you follow the brother at H Royal Family, he'll keep you updated. He'll let you know where you can find it. If you're looking for any of his other older films, such as A Second Chance, Father's Pride, Fearless 1, Fearless 2, King of Newark 1, and King of Newark 2. Check. You could check Tubi for those. The brother also has some books available on Amazon, Living with No Regrets and The King of Newark. Make sure y'all go check that out. The brother also has a real estate company, Willow Tree Group. So if you're looking for a home, go check that out. And he probably got a gang of other shit, so we're going to get to that too.
Word. You got it all covered.
A Renaissance band, exactly.
Right.
Before we get into that, shout out to the brother Ephraim. Shout out to Straight Fuego Studios. As always, make sure you're following at EphraimR711 for studio time to record an album, shoot a video, record a podcast. He's also going to offer video editing. So if you need your video edited, there's the man to look for. Shout out to the brother VS. Make sure you follow him on Twitter exclusive. That's at @thereal_VS. OP, right?
Yes, VS to the OP.
Make sure you're following the brother Bludshot at deadass_worldwide. Make sure you're following at GAHHD_podcast for all updates. Make sure you're following at Last Breath Entertainment. Make sure you're following me at callme_Joseph_. And shout out to I Blame Society for providing me with this cocoa cream lovely sweater.
It's nice.
Make sure you're following them
Buttery.
at i.blamesociety.tm. And I fuck with this brand because what they stand for, I just want to read to y'all what's on the page. I could have sworn I had to set up.
Buttery.
Yeah, very buttery. So, at I Blame Society, they blame society for the resilience that we possess. for excellence and elevation, and for never folding, ensuring that our integrity is authentic. So I totally stand for that. I'm totally with that. Society's probably intentionally built to keep us down, us minorities, us brothers.
True.
You know, the system, the way shit is, the court system, the jail system, child support system, the educational system is all designed for us to either fail or to continue to live in this mouse fucking trap. And brothers such as Alonzo Herran, brothers such as VS and myself, brothers such as Ephraim R, the good people at I Blame Society, we're showing the world that, you know, regardless of what barriers or parameters are placed around us, we can overcome. We can lead.
Don't forget Bludshot.
Oh yeah, who that? Nah. Nah, the brother Bludshot too. Shout out to him. Everybody make sure to show Bludshot love for the editing that he does. All these groovy sound effects you hear on the show. But
come on, man, that's nothing but love.
But let's get to the brother Alonzo Herran Jr. First and foremost, the brother Alonzo Herran is a former police officer in Newark. Now, that cannot be easy because Newark is, I don't really go to Newark, yo.
It's tough, yo. It's tough over
Yeah,
there.
Newark ain't
My
easy
cousin,
to patrol.
JP used to live over there and shit. It was tough, yo.
So you got, tell us how that experience was for you. What got you into police?
It was something that I never really wanted to become a cop. It was like, it wasn't a dream for me. I had a guy that I had a couple people that was in the streets. You know, I grew up born and raised on Dayton Street projects, and you know, I just seen a repetitive people hustling, going to jail, coming out of jail, hustling. A lot of my cousins and friends and stuff, and it was just like, you know, I had this guy that, you know, he did 10 years in jail. When he came home, and I'm trying to find my way at the time, just trying to see, you know, what's my calling, because I remember my father kept saying, what is it that you want to do? Like, you know, and you know, all classmates saying I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. We just saying stuff just to get by. And I was like, honestly, I don't know what I want to do. I said, I know I want to be wealthy. How I'm gonna get wealthy, I don't know. And I knew I wanted to have a son at a young age because my father raised me, and he was a young father, and we was physically able to do things with each other.
That's cool.
But I didn't know, I had no direction. So I met this guy that came home from jail, and you know, during high school, I was doing parties. I was known for throwing high school parties, and I was introduced to him, and he was into the entertainment world. You know, he was like, "Listen, I got some money, whatever you want to do," but you know, he was doing his thing with it. So one day, you know, I caught him off. We was driving, and he was just like, "Listen, man, I see something bigger than you than this kind of lifestyle." He said, "Listen, I would eat and die for these streets." He was like, you're young, you know, stay focused, be a good father, X, Y, Z. And he got killed. He wanted to be murdered. Wow. And when he got murdered, that's what pushed me to take the test afterwards. And then, you know, another guy that was in the street, he said, listen, you got all these guys out here hustling, talking about they don't never want to be cops. He said, because their jacket is messed up. If they had the chance to take the test, he said, just always be you, Lonzo. Don't never let that badge and that gun change you.
Right.
And I took the test. I was, you know, I got involved in politics, and I got on, you know, and I never changed who I was. You know, 20 years later, that's why I walk the streets of Newark. I go anywhere, people know what I do, but they respect me because, you know, they know I wasn't that asshole cop, I used to say.
Right.
A lot of times, 90% of the times, and no lie, I'd be away, I'd be at restaurants, and people come up to me and say, hey, yo, I just wanted to say thanks. You treated me with respect when I was down in that holding cell than versus some of the other officers that did. So, you know, I just respect the people. I treat people how I want to be treated. Because the reality is that we all could be touched. None of us invincible. And I got a son. I don't want nobody saying, you know, your father did something to me and take it out on my child.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I got into the cop. I became a cop and did 20 years. And I wound up torn my rotator cuff.
Okay.
And I had to get 2 surgeries, but I had the time to leave and get retirement.
Well, congratulations on retirement. Congratulations on the
pension. Man.
And the gentleman that passed away.
Yeah.
What was his name?
His name was Spencer McCullum, a.k.a. Money Spence. Everybody know Money Spence.
Shout out to Money Spence, man, for for doing the right thing as an OG and putting you on that right path. You know?
Yeah.
We often talk about how today in society we're missing OGs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
kids don't really have OGs.
And people looking at, they looking at that next politician or that superhero, but there are guys in the street that had no choice but to sell drugs.
Right.
Had no choice but to rob and steal at the time. That's all they knew. But they have told. There's another guy in jail, life now, King Dave Duke. You know, Duke Allen. You know, he was another one. You know, he got hit with life, but he was another one. Look, Lonzo, you don't come down this path.
Yeah.
Stay this.
Right. They see it in you before you even see it.
Yeah.
They know who's born to be in the streets and who's not.
Exactly.
And when you're not, a lot of them, the righteous ones anyway, they'll do their best to protect you and keep you out of the streets.
Yeah.
And watch you go down that right path and help you, and you know,
because 90% of us that's coming up, we look at them. We want to be like them with the cars, the money, the girls. But then at the real time, nobody realized what they had to do to get there,
Exactly.
or what you got to live with,
Exactly.
you know, to keep that going.
Exactly.
And everybody ain't built like that.
Exactly.
You know.
But congratulations to him, or props to him for doing that, man, and props to you for becoming a cop and not letting the cop become you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I like that. Not letting the cop become
yeah,
you.
for sure. Because like that's so easy to happen. You know, that power trip.
Oh man,
You just hear horror stories all the time.
I've seen
man.
guys,
Yeah.
you know, guys that I was in the academy with that I was protecting. Like, yo, like chill, let them cool.
Oh, they were tough guys.
And when we graduated,
Yeah.
and I had to work with some of them. Then we do a traffic stop, and the guy was like, "Yo," partner like, "Yo, give me your fucking license." I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
bro, like,
yeah.
yo, you wasn't like that in the academy."
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
now he got his badge and his gun. He's Superman.
I said, you know,
Super
like
cop.
calm down a little bit, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Wanna be
but
super
you know,
calm.
a lot of them let it go to their head, man. They feel like they could just talk and do what they want to do, and don't realize repercussions it could come.
And the way it makes, you know, it's unfortunate that police get generalized because of people like that.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
That's
The bad
small,
cops.
yeah.
A person like you who's well respected, a person like Brother Bludshot, he's got a cousin who's
Right.
NYPD,
Exactly.
and as far as I know, he does the right thing. But y'all don't get that that notoriety that the bad cops do.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up because y'all exist.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Get that stigma, yeah.
Yeah, and there should be more light shined on the cops that are in the hood, in the trenches,
Doing real work.
doing the right thing and really serving the community, because I think that's what got lost.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
the police are supposed to serve and protect the community, and I'm willing to say,
police, community policing. Like, there's a lot of times, like, you should know who your neighbors are. You should
Exactly.
know, and even on a housing tip. I do a lot of, like, we do a lot of meetings, and the neighbors don't know each other. So
Right.
if I seen you at his house, and I'm like, he's not a familiar face, I approach that.
Right.
But they don't even know each other, so nobody gets involved in that no more.
everybody's so disconnected
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It's no longer communities being communal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just people living in the same vicinity, but
When I was growing up and my mother and father was around, Mrs. Johnson checked me.
Exactly.
You know, or such and
exactly.
such neighbor looked
the
after
village
me.
would raise
Exactly.
the kids.
Yeah,
And now,
but it's not.
now it feels like nobody's raising the
Nobody.
kids. And
Nobody.
that's
Nobody
what's
seen
leading.
nothing. Nobody heard anything. And, you know.
And especially,
Not only that,
go ahead, Blood.
not only that, they go the extra mile to avoid each other, like
Yeah.
on purpose. You know, it's not even just coincidental anymore. It's just they go that extra mile, like, hey, you know, I don't mess with this person, and even, you know, like officers growing up, like when I was growing up, and I was thugging in the street, I'll be like, man, like, you know, you're pulling me over, whatever, you stopping me, but I went to high school with you, and you acting brand new.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
you gotta have that
Oh, you
public
get
relations
those.
side too, like.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
man.
those two now. Yeah.
And
Like,
normally,
yo, fam, like we know each other.
that-
Get
that-
out of here, man.
Exactly.
the cops be the ones instigating the shit to get more, like, not violent, but like more like
Confrontational?
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Because
Where
they-
y'all come up calm
They don't know
and we
how
calm.
they don't know how to diffuse the situation. They don't know how to
Right.
handle.
Right.
That's why I was just like on the way here. I was just telling somebody I was at an event and the guy said something to somebody. He said, "Yo, what the fuck you talking about?" And I said, he didn't disrespect you. He just said, like, we don't have to take it there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I made him feel stupid because he started at 10 and I was on 5.
Exactly.
Make him come down.
Exactly.
Because if he say, what the fuck you talking about? And I said, what you mean what I'm talking about? We both at 10, so what's the next thing? Somebody's throwing a blow. It's not about being a punk or scared. It's just about knowing how to diffuse the situation when it's not needed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But like you said, a lot of them are scared.
Exactly. A lot was scared.
Yeah.
That's why they pull the trigger.
Exactly.
You know, and it'd be reaction. It's not really like, sometimes they don't mean it, but sometimes they not really trained and they scared. They don't know how to defend
A
themselves.
coward cop is a scary thing, bro.
That's it.
For real.
That is a dangerous
That's dangerous.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when they the system has probably led them to believe that they're gonna get away with whatever they do. You know what I'm saying? So not only are they scared, but they feel protected at the same time.
Or some of them do it because they know that they're going to get away with it. You know?
Yeah,
know
that's
there's gonna
fucked
be
up.
That's why I see a lot of cases since I've been retired. Even when I was going to say, if I would have done that, they would have hung me.
Yeah.
They'd have hung me.
Yeah.
Just like the situation
difference in the
in
treatment.
Woodbridge. If I was
Wait,
that
in the
cop,
mall?
that,
The mall thing?
the mall. If I would
Yeah.
have
I was
grabbed
gonna ask
that,
you
if I
about
would have
that.
grabbed a purse, if I would have grabbed that any of them kids and put them down and not seeing what happened to the letter,
and only grab the one.
it would have been they don't want to suspend them without pay. I'd have been suspended on the taken automatically. I wouldn't even been getting paid unless I beat my case back right away.
Yeah. And you would have been canceled, like publicly.
Oh, man.
They
Oh,
would have
yeah.
had your face
Rallies,
all over the
everything.
news
Yeah.
and all kinds of. Everybody would have known your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shout out to the young man who was unfairly treated that day in the mall. Not to say violence is the answer, but it looked to me like they was having a one-on-one fight.
1-on-1, he beat.
That's the way it's supposed
No
to be.
weapons.
Yeah.
You know, but he get target
And
he
then the
get
cops
slammed
come,
to the
they slam him. The other kid is sitting there chilling. I think he even stood up and
dipped off.
Yeah. Again, just another example of just injustice.
Injustice.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's a shame that we have to witness it so often. But shout out to you again for being a man of the people, from the people, and of the people.
Yeah.
That's very important, and we need better examples, and we need to shine light on police officers, and not only police officers, just people in the community that are doing things for the community and bringing the community. I don't know if you know this brother White Mike out in Newark.
Oh man, you know it's funny. I was at a because I'm very into politics as well. So I was at a fundraiser for the mayor's team Baraka, and one of the investors, and he was like, "Yeah, man," he was like, "I see what you're doing." He was like, "I know this kid." Named White Mike. I said, I watched White Mike grow up.
No shit.
White Mike and my first wife, her brother was best friends coming up.
All right,
playing basketball.
Perfect. So let me ask you a question while you're here. And White Mike, much love to you. I fuck with you big time. Was White Mike really that nice on the court coming up?
Yeah, he was good.
Very
good.
But
he's a prime example. What stood out to Mike with me because I'm from the projects. He's from the projects, and all this is going around him, you know. And he could have easily deterred doing time.
Correct.
I could speak up and say most of his friends are in jail right now. He could have been in that part of that conspiracy case, but he's out here trying to do what he got to do because either he realized we ain't built for jail, or his life was meant for something more.
Right.
And I just reached out to him, man, too. I told him, saying, you know what? I got to get with him because he's doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. And, you know, our connections, we can help get better resources.
Yeah,
for him.
combine forces. Shout out to White Mike. For those that don't know, he put together a basketball league in Newark, neighborhood versus neighborhood. So instead of different hoods and different crews beefing and, you know, fighting it out or shooting it out, they shoot it out on the basketball court.
Nice.
The mayor did get involved. I believe the mayor had the MVP trophy. And it should be coming back soon once the weather warms up. And Brother Mike, now that Alonzo co-signed you on the court, I'm going to take back my challenge for the one-on-one. I'm going to let you live.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Much love.
You know he had to be nice because he completed that crate challenge, you know, while he was rolling up. So
but that's different. That's different. You know, he posts his basketball highlights.
That's hand-eye coordination right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to him, man, and shout out to you again for doing what you're doing in the community.
Sure. Definitely.
As you were a police officer, you also founded the Willow Tree Group, which is a real estate company based out of Newark, correct?
Yeah.
And what led you to to want to found a real estate company? Because that's not really like, that's not a common thing that our people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said with me. When I first started, when I became a cop, I seen a lot of investors buying and flipping in the game. And I remember I met this Pakistani guy named Boy Pasad. I mean, he's still around doing this thing too. But he was like, basically he met me and he asked me, do I know buyers? So I said, I don't know buyers, but I know how to network. I know how to go and meet people.
Right.
And he said, well, I got some properties that I'm rehabbing. If you know anybody, I give you a $5,000 referral fee. At that time, I was like, okay.
Hell yeah. Today I'll do that shit.
So I created a flyer and I would go to like City Hall and hospitals, put it on the cars, because I was a promoter.
Right,
so,
right.
And I was like, you looking for a house for sale, no money down. And I got a couple people and
Nice.
I did 1 or 2 or 3 deals with him. And after he, even my father, he said, he ain't going to pay you. And I was like, first of all, where we from? Like, he ain't gonna pay.
Yeah, he gonna pay one way or another.
What are you talking about?
So anyway, after
He gonna get taxed.
Yeah. So after the third deal, he paid me $5,000. So then I got smart in the game. I said, listen, boy, if you asking for $100,000 for the property and I can sell it for $120, can I make whatever I make on top? So he said, sure, no problem. So he had this 3-family and he put it out there. And I locked it down. He wanted 100. I locked it down for 125. Came to the closing. I got a check for 10,000. And he said, "Oh, but Alonzo, I said, boy, we had a good relationship. How are we going to rectify this?" And he said, "You know what, Alonzo? This is what I'm gonna do." He said, "I got a condo in North Newark, a 2-bedroom. I'm gonna give it to you for 30-something thousand, and I'm gonna hook you up with my money investor, where I get my money from."
Wow.
And that's how I got my first property.
Nice.
I lived there.
Okay.
I rehabbed it. I rehabbed the property. I lived there for a couple of years, and I flipped it. And I just kept turning over. I was just one of those guys. Like, I didn't make the money. Go buy a new car. Just
kept flipping.
splurging. I just I had to get. I had my vision. Like,
Right.
when to get my priorities in straight. And that's how I just kept it going. I took a big hit. I took some hits in 2005 and 7, but I was able to stay afloat because I believe in not living out of my means.
Right.
So with that back, I was able to do it, and I helped a lot of people get their first homes. That's one of the biggest things with me, like to help somebody get their credit together and buy a home. And if they mess it up, they mess it up. At least I can say I helped them get across that finish line.
And
That's big.
that's a big reward. Yeah.
Yeah.
You seem like a good-hearted brother in that would probably. That's more important to you than making a few bucks.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. I'm not.
You're gonna find a way to make a buck.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I like to sleep good at night. Like, I don't want no. There was guys. And I'm sure you heard stories. Guys, there was guys buying this house. They said it's this house, the house next door, and just taking the money and
selling it to people who couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it
Any way possible.
Nah. I just wasn't. I couldn't live like that. And like I said, none of that. That's federal time, so I wasn't trying to get caught up in that either. So,
but shout out to that Pakistani brother for taking you in.
Boyd Pasad, yeah.
Boyd Pasad, shout out to you, man, for not only putting you on to game, but then connecting you with his people.
Yeah.
Giving you his plug. That's
A lot of people don't want to give up that plug.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Especially to a different race. Like, normally they keep it in house.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dope.
So that was
And
big of him.
shout out to North Newark. Shout out to North Newark.
Yeah.
Just to have, you know what I'm saying? That wound up being a better deal for you because you probably would have blew that 25. But
oh, absolutely.
when it was all said and done, you got into that property, and that's what propelled you to, to do your thing with the business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he taught you how to fish.
Yeah.
Instead of giving you the fish.
Exactly.
And he threw me in the water and I swam. And I got it done.
Boyd Pasad, shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, during this time, you're a police officer. You're learning the real estate. You're probably already flipping some stuff. And then in 2010, you decide to write a book.
Yeah. So that came along. I had a grandfather that he was an entrepreneur too. And I remember we used to hang out a lot. He used to go to movies in Atlantic City. He was a big time gambler. And he used to always talk about, yeah, I'm gonna write this book. I'm gonna write a book. You know, just always talking about it. And he wound up dying and never wrote that book.
Right.
So when I was on the job, I had this post at downtown Broader Market. It's a writer named by the name of Alonzo D. Banks.
Okay.
And he wrote a couple of them urban books, and I wasn't really into the books at the time. Like, I barely wanted to read in high school,
Right.
you know. But anyway, I started reading them. I'm like, damn, this shit good.
There was
you know?
right?
Yeah. You hear the gunshots, gunplay, robberies, sex, sex things. You'd be really into it.
Yeah.
But nah, his books was good. He wrote like about 4 or 5 books at the time, and I was like, you know what? I remember saying to myself, I said, yo, everybody got a story to tell. It's all about how you tell it.
Right.
So I wound up on that post. I had a lot of time to myself. I started getting notebooks, and I said I'm gonna dedicate an hour a day and just write. Sometimes it might run 20 minutes. Sometimes it might go to 3 hours once depending. And I kind of like went back and took little stuff I remember from when I was growing up in Friends, and I put it together in the story form about like 4 guys growing up in the projects. Some wanted to be out, some wanted to be in the game. It changed their lives. So I wanted to name the book "Living with No Regrets," and I wound up looking around for somebody to, do the editing and put it in the book form. And I wound up meeting this other writer she known now, but I paid her, and I noticed that my stuff got pushed to the side. So I was like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. So I met another writer named Kay Brown. We was in Miami one weekend, and we wound up talking. And she said, look, Lonzo, I heard about you. I remember you growing up. I'm going to help you get your book out. You could pay me later. And she did. And she helped me get that book finished in 2 months. And I self-published it with Lightning Source. And the book took off. It did really good, like around that tri-state area. And that's when I started meeting with people, and people was like, you should do a movie. You should get into the film business. So I took some profit from real estate, and I said, you know what? I believe in myself. I'm gonna invest in myself, and and believe me, family wise, father, friends, everybody got opinion. Everybody got opinion on this book, and it's like even my father was just like, I don't think you should write the book because you ain't like you already an eyesore in the police department. You're gonna bring more eyes on you, and I'm like, listen, if I'm writing this book for you and them, it's never going to get published because everybody's going to have their own opinion about it.
Exactly.
I'm doing this for myself. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and that's what I did.
And even the title, "Living with No Regrets."
Exactly.
Had you never written the book, you would fucking regret it.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
And now all these things that you're doing, you're not like you didn't go to school for writing.
No.
Nor did you go to school to make
Acting,
movies,
producing,
and acting,
none
and
of
stuff,
that.
right? So you're just
Self-taught.
Yeah, you're just taking the fucking bull by its horn, saying this is what I want to do, and going out there and doing it. So I want all of our listeners to take heed and use the brother Alonzo, see him as an example that, yo, you can really be whatever the fuck you want to be. If you want to write a book, go write a book. I was talking to my homegirl Angie the other day, and she mentioned that she wanted to write a book, but she don't believe in herself, and everybody tells her don't write the book. And I'm like, yo,
Damn,
write the fucking book.
Yeah.
Like
you can't stick around and wait for people to tell you like that because they would.
Yeah, and you'll never end up. You'll end up doing nothing.
Nothing.
You won't write the book. You won't make the movie. And you'll always think like, oh, I should have did this or that. Somewhere down the line when you're at a job you hate and fucking just waiting for the clock to strike.
That's a fact.
Yeah, you gotta
So
roll
shout out
that
to
dice.
you for doing that, man. That
And
takes a lot of balls.
It's a big accomplishment for yourself because, like you said, your granddad never did it. So you actually not only did it for yourself, but you also did it for your granddad. You feel me?
Absolutely.
In a way. And even if it wouldn't have done anything, it's kind of like self-therapy when you're writing, man. Because I know for myself, I do that, and I get scared to write. Like I really get scared, and it's like, yo, just get it done, bro. And once it's done, you feel better for it.
Yeah.
Because it's cathartic. You're digging into those dark recesses of the mind that you thought you locked away, but until you go in there and clean that fucking closet out,
You're gonna still have them problems. Still have to deal with those.
Yeah, and now your book, Living with No Regrets, is still available on Amazon.
Yeah, still out there on Amazon.
Okay, so everybody, make sure you go check that out. I'm gonna pick me up a copy. I love a good urban book. One of my favorite writers actually was from Newark. I want to say his name was Kwame Teague, but he was known as Dutch. He wrote the Dutch.
Oh,
trilogy.
Kwame. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to we just talking about him. Yeah, because he was the original owner, the original writer of Dutch.
Right.
Terry
He wrote
Woods,
the first 3,
yeah.
and then Terry Woods wrote the
Oh, and
fourth
Terry
one.
Woods, yeah.
she-
I'm
wanted-
sorry. He wrote the first 2, and then Terry Woods released the third one that she wrote.
Yeah.
And then he released the third official one, kind of
Yeah.
like in the streets.
Yeah,
and shit.
but I know he talked to J.M. Benjamin. He's from Jersey. He's a writer too as well. But yeah.
And they just made the movie Dutch.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it because I haven't seen it.
Terrible, man.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. You know what? It was bothering me because, you know, what's funny, before I wrote my book, I had met Terry.
Right.
Like, I had got the call, like, yo, I was in Atlantic City. My man was like, yo, Terry lives, it was somewhere down Philly, somewhere like that. And I was like, yo, I'm leaving AC. Just let's go talk to her.
Right.
I wanted her to like help me self-publish the book.
Right.
You know, I pay her. So I went down there and talked to her, and I asked her. I wasn't even thinking about the movie part. I was just trying to think about the book at the time. And she was just like, well, you know, we could do something. I'm going to get back to you. And she never did. And then that's when I found out several years later, and I've been trying to get with him too. The guy that did the movie. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, she wound up locking all her books and films locking the films with him. And so he did True to Game 1, True to Game 2. And I was
Right.
like, you know,
True to Game 1 was alright.
yeah, and
I fucked with it.
But I'm looking at him like our style shooting, you know, it's some of the same actors he had, I had in mind, you know, and I was like, okay, we need to connect, you know, you're doing it. But when he did Dutch, I was hurt, man. I'm not, because Dutch was a classic,
So
man.
good.
Oh my God. Just reading and you mentioned the character Dutch, like how he got it. He cut the guy chain and neck off and
the
took
African
his chain.
guy.
Like so those the highlight. This come on, Newark was the stolen car capital.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Jack Cameron.
To find out you didn't shoot not one scene in Newark.
They didn't do when they went to the docks and robbed the whole fucking. Oh.
He didn't shoot. He
let me
didn't
ask
shoot
you,
one scene in Newark.
Was Dutch involved with the movie? Or was it just Terry Woods?
It was Terry Woods. I don't even know how much she was involved with it. I think he probably
Just
whatever
bought the
agreement, and he got the rights, and he created his own story. Wow. They used one piece of a stock footage of City Hall and the Newark Police Department. It was like, let me tell you something. Newark, Jersey is the biggest one that's given the film credits. Why not? You could have shot a scene or 2 scenes
Hell
here.
yeah.
Not even that. What was the biggest part? You didn't even do a premiere in Newark.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
What? You could at least done that.
Hell yeah. I mean, the whole movie
It's
should have been
about
shot in
Newark.
Newark.
It's about Newark.
It's about
Newark
Newark.
is a character in the fucking
Exactly.
film, in
Dutch
the book
1
trilogy.
and 2 is all in Newark.
Yeah.
Dutch 3,
Then he
that
goes-
was
yeah,
over
yeah,
there.
yeah. He goes overseas,
Yeah.
yeah.
But come on,
Damn, that's a shame. You know what? I had an idea. I had a feeling that movie wasn't going to be good. And I'll tell you why. They cast Gunner as Dutch's right-hand man. And Gunner, going off the books, like his right-hand man was the dude.
Yeah.
Like, body.
the whole crew.
And I couldn't believe Gunner.
Flyer, One Eye Rock.
Yeah.
You know, Angel.
The girl Angel. Yeah.
I'm looking at this Angel. I mean, she was okay, but
Damn, I don't even know who they casted for her.
I don't think she was no name girl. Somebody.
The only person was that I saw that I recognized was Gunner because he's hot right now, and the lead guy, which was
he played.
He's known. He was on the show The Game.
Yeah, he was on Game. He played
been
a couple
few
movies,
things, yeah.
but
he was in Temptation. He was
I still,
in,
I still don't think he was a good Dutch dog.
I don't think so either. He's not powerful enough. His face is not strong enough.
You need a roof. Dutch was ruthless. Like he but you got to see it. You'll be like 2 thumbs down. I'm sorry.
Damn. I'm gonna watch it only because I'm so into Dutch. Like I recommend everybody read this trilogy.
It was like the ultimate classic.
Yeah,
The
so
ultimate
to think,
classic.
and like the movie, it can't be one movie.
Yeah,
it
you
should
gotta
have been a trilogy of movies.
Yeah,
too.
he got to.
And to know that the first one, if the first one's not good, they'll never make the other 2.
Even the major scene where when they were supposed to, the courthouse scene.
When they break them out.
I'm looking at Essex County Court building. I'm like, because
you've
you've
been
been
there.
there.
You
Yeah.
worked there. You know what it looked like.
Yeah, man. It was like, oh man.
Wow,
so keep it real, not to be controversial, and not to like start any beef or anything. you would have did it better.
Much better. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was trying to connect with the guy who did it. I can't believe his name. I've been trying to connect with him because he has a rhythm with his films.
Right.
You know, you could tell he's making them for a good budget, but he has the connection. Actually, he was Nicki Minaj manager years ago. I can't think of his. I can't believe
It's not
his name.
Fendi, right?
It's Fendi. They call him Fendi, but his real name is something else.
Oh, I gotta look.
Yeah, but
yeah, and I got my phone over there.
but something media, Imaging Media is his company. But yeah, I mean he has a connection to Netflix. He makes money, he makes millions off of the movies. He does their theatrical release, then he go to Netflix, and then he goes to AVOD and all them other platforms.
Right.
So he has he is a good tool to use for an independent filmmaker to say, listen,
Preston Whitmore, that guy.
he was the director.
He's the director.
He wasn't
Who we're looking for, the producer?
the executive producer.
Yeah.
So he has a good way to show people, listen, you can really make some real money independently. But I just felt like when you get better, like even with me, I haven't got no major deal, but you look at from Living with No Regrets to where King of Newark or The Fearless 2 is, you would say they better crank cameras, better actors, better lighting. You know, we got to get better.
You developed
He
your craft.
didn't-
Manny
you developed
Haley?
your craft.
Manny Hamlin.
Manny.
Yeah. And you could just tell.
No
the
knock. No knock,
No, I'm
but
not gonna knock. But
that movie
I'll
had to
call
be a
spade
certain level.
A spade is that, and it could have been much better production wise.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it should have been much better. Like if I
Yeah.
were just like me writing a story in Atlanta. Why not do it in Atlanta?
Right.
Or why not do a casting call in Atlanta?
Right,
Or definitely a premiere.
Get
Yeah, because
authentic
you want the
Atlantic
people.
What?
Yo, you need Dutch
Authentic,
to have a
yeah.
Newark accent and
Yeah.
talk that talk and use
Yeah.
them words.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm so happy
It's
you
more
came
real.
here. It's
You
so
wanna
rare
connect.
I get to talk Dutch. Like,
Yeah.
the only other person I know who's read them is my man Jay Trees. Shout out to Jay Trees. And yo, I've
he
read
put me
those
on to
books
Tory
like
Words.
3 times.
Right. Couldn't wait
Each.
for the next edition to come out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yo, when I found Dutch 3 by Dutch, because I bought Dutch 3 by Terry Woods on Amazon.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah.
And then when I was in New York, like, you know the book tables?
Yeah.
I seen Dutch 3 and I was like, oh shit. And it was different from the one I bought. It was a black book and it just said Dutch 3 by Dutch. And I was like, oh shit, this is the real one. Yo, I bought that shit. Yo, you got to read the whole trilogy by him.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that even it's a trilogy and there's 4 books. Like, how often does that happen? That's some fucking exclusive
There's
shit.
another book too I read, Kwame. It's one of my favorites. I really talk about it. I would like to shoot it if I could actually get with him. It's called Thug Politics.
I might have that one. Is that the
Yeah.
one that takes place down south?
No, I think it takes place here, but it's about it's politics and about him being with an R&B artist, and it's crazy.
I gotta check that one. I think I'm thinking
Yeah.
of one that it might be called like Above the Law or something.
Yeah,
that it takes
yeah.
place down south. But Kwame, one of my favorite writers, man. Props to him.
A lot of them, man. A lot of writers is in jail, man. They got a lot of stories to tell, and they put it together, man. They could get with the if you just make those stories alone, you got an audience, man. You got a Tubi all day, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Now that we have that outlet too.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And like I said, I fuck with Tubi heavy. For those that don't know, Tubi is an app that you can download onto your phone, similar to Netflix, only it's free.
Free.
And they give up and coming producers a platform to put their movies on. They got classic movies, they got hood movies. They be having like some dope, funny 80s shits. Like I seen Once Bitten on there.
Oh my God.
The vampire,
That's the vampire
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Jim Carrey, yeah.
So they got shit like that you see
That's
it and you're like,
crazy.
oh shit, I haven't seen this shit in mad long. And then
You know, it's
boom.
funny. Last night I was up. I couldn't sleep. I was watching Class Act.
Yeah, I seen it on there too. Hell
Shit.
yeah.
Blame Brad. That's my shit.
Yeah,
Shout out
man.
to Tubi, man. Word up.
Every
And
time-
on Tubi, you could go find the King of Newark right now, the King of Newark 2 also. I'm not sure if they have the Fearless one.
They got Living with No Regrets, King of Newark 2, the series. We got the Fearless 1 and the Fearless 2 one.
Oh,
here.
all right, so I'm gonna go check
Yeah,
all them
yeah.
shits out tonight. The one I want to watch
You can
tonight
also-
now is Living with No Regrets. Word.
Yeah.
You can download it on your TV too. If you got a smart TV. You can
Yes,
download that.
correct,
Yeah.
correct, absolutely. So, after putting out the book, and it got some success. When did you decide, like, all right, this could be a movie? Because back then, you're talking 2010.
Yeah,
The
it was
books,
real short.
The hood books to movies wasn't really a thing yet.
Yeah, it was. Urban was still, it was still, the indie films were still new, but it was people doing them. Like I remember, I don't know if you not to get off the topic, but I think God, the first indie film I saw, HBO did it. Strap.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that movie with
Isn't that a Spike
Fredro.
Lee film?
Yeah,
No.
that was with Fredro Starr.
Fredro, Bokeem
And
Woodbine.
Bokeem.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong with your sandwich? His sandwich bigger than mine.
That's your man Bamboo.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes was in it.
Yeah.
So
So-
I remember that.
They opened up the door. Strap opened up the door. You had a couple more, but a lot of people started doing them more around the late 2000, early 2000s. And I had no idea. Like I said, I didn't go to school for this. I knew one filmmaker. He did a deal with he shot a lot like Notori when she first came out.
Okay.
He had Tretch called Cash Rules. He had a whole bunch of stars in there that was up and coming. And he did a deal with E1 Entertainment. They used to be Koch Records.
Yeah.
So he was telling me like, Lonzo, won't you invest into the film thing? And I said, I'm interested, but I didn't like the way I didn't like his style of shooting. So I said, I got my own story I want to shoot. So I decided, I said, when I close this deal, I'm gonna take some money and I'm gonna shoot Living with No Regrets. So I wound up shopping and meeting directors because a lot of directors, they more music video guys. It was everybody shooting music video guys. And I met with this guy. I met with a couple people. Some people gave you this crazy number, and then they went and negotiated. I'm like, listen, I'm a fair guy. If you don't look at me as money, look at me as where this is your chance to shoot a film. You shoot it right, we make money together. So I wanted to meet a guy named Jamal Hall, and he shot one movie before, but this was a chance for him to step up his craft, and he was willing to work with me. He gave me a good budget to shoot the film, and so it was like everybody was start doing casting calls, and then I realized in the business mind that you want to get people that people know faces,
Right,
'cause
right.
that's going to help market the film.
Right, then it's gonna attract their
So
fans.
I wanted to, somebody, connected me and Tretch together. So I wanted to get Tretch to play one of the major characters. AZ was in there. Charlie Baltimore, Vita.
And this is Living with No Regrets.
Living in Regrets. My
I
first
fucked around
movie.
and seen this movie.
You probably
yo.
seen it, yeah. Mark John Jeffries, Clifton Powell.
Yeah,
Black Rob
I
was
think
in
I might have
there.
seen this movie.
I just got
gotta
crazy.
See the cover art, and then I'll remember.
I came with this budget, but then you meet one person, you start meeting them, and start premiering. So I'm like, yo, let's get him in the movie. Let's get him in the movie. And honestly, still one of my favorite movies that
Is your
I've done.
first baby?
Yeah, man. I still pump it, and it's still doing good on Tubi too.
That's what's up.
So then, that took off, and I wanted to, before I had even enough time to really promote that film and like try to take it on tour, because it was like shooting a film is one way, but then you talk about a budget for marketing,
Right.
So you just want to shoot the
business side,
movie,
yeah.
So you like, now how you gonna get it out there?
Right.
Then everybody, they want to look at you as a dollar. They're saying, let's do this and let's break bread together. Actors don't think of the business. A lot of actors and the artists, they're not business minded. I'll be honest with you. They just like, pay me to show up or pay me to do this. Not thinking, saying, listen, I had a lot of New York actors. If we did a premiere, I know in Jersey, we killed it. Jersey Gardens, we had over 1,000 people, 1,500 people who did it back at Newark, 1,500. I know I got Jersey because I'm here every day. I'm going to be out and pumping.
Yeah.
But imagine like, AZ, you from Queens, or, we do a premiere out there. How many people you in? You be a producer and get a percentage.
Right.
They don't think like that. No,
They're not even
busy.
thinking back
They're
then.
not
money.
thinking. Everybody, you gotta understand that we all have our run. We gotta get it when we can get it, and then you step out to another field. So, I wanted to. That's what I was like. You know what? I want to continue Living No Regrets into King of Newark.
Right.
I want to change the name, but I want to be King of Newark, and that's when I wrote that book. And we dropped that book in 2012. And we immediately started shooting that. We started filming that in 2015 and released it in 2016. That was the second movie. That's when I had, Mano as a main character, Clifton Powell,
Votto,
Omar Gooding flew in, Jason Weaver, Miguel Nunez, and Blue Jim, you know. Shout out to him. Dude, cool. But yeah, so we got together. I got another director. I gave another director who wanted to try. He did his thing in the movie, and I think that was honestly that was the biggest movie that out of all of them right now that did well.
Right.
Yeah, because for some reason King of Newark on Tubi.
I was gonna say
God.
the name. It pulls me in. I had watched it before. Like this was set up.
But King
and then
of
I
Newark,
watched it again yesterday.
Yeah, it's like because when you see that, who claimed to be the King
exactly,
of Newark? You know,
exactly.
And people was getting that wrong because I'll be at the barbershop and be like, yo, so who was the king? Like I'm thinking who was the biggest drug dealer? And it's like, nah, it's not about that. He was in the streets, but it's more like overall other things to it. Yeah. But yeah, that was a big movie, man. And King of Newark still getting that rhythm to this day, man. Yeah. And then
deservedly.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I wanted to do my background coming up. I ain't mentioned like my father was a karate teacher, one of his jack of all trades and stuff. So I martial arts. I kickboxed for 20 years, and I wound up doing the Fearless one.
Right.
And then I did a sequel to that, the Fearless 2, and then we went back to King of Newark 2. Instead of shooting it as a movie, we said we want to try a series because they were saying a lot of networks they looking for content,
Yeah.
And then Power took off. So and then King of Newark didn't take off too. A lot of people still don't know that it is a King of Newark 2.
Right.
People like, damn, where's it at? I'm like, it's on Tubi. So I never really got a chance to really fully market each film like it's to its potential.
Right.
So that's why I'm trying to now and just build this catalog and just trying to show a network and say, listen, we see what you're doing on your money. Imagine we give you some money,
right?
What you could really do.
Yep, and then
big budget.
Exactly. Trying to do it like 50 did when he got with Lionsgate, and then he broke out doing his own thing.
So real quick, because I was not aware of this, and I've yet to see the Fearless 1 or the Fearless 2. You said you did kickboxing for 20 years. Are these karate movies?
Yeah, those two martial arts movies. Yeah.
Like in the hood karate movies?
Yeah. Underground fighting. Yeah.
Man, karate movies are my shit.
Cage match fights and stuff and everything.
Word? I'm watching this tonight.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. So Fearless 1 and Fearless 2. Actually, I got the Fearless 3 dropping in June.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Damn.
And it's a good way to flip it in terms of the story because it's a lot of people from the hood, they just think about hood stories.
Yeah.
Right? So you talk about something different, like, oh shit, this underground fighting. Be like, oh damn, that's something I never would have thought of.
And that's why I at that point, because I didn't want to be in that lane. Living with no regrets. He just doing drug dealing, selling movies. Then in King of Newark 2 and King of Newark, I didn't want to get stuck in that. So I said, let me try something else, which was the Fearless 1.
Right.
And then now here we are. Something totally different, a second chance and a father's prize, on a faith-based movie.
Like more.
But it still got that urban in it because it's realistic stuff. It's stuff that we deal with every day.
And in the hood, all this shit happens.
Exactly.
It's not only drug dealing. There's churches and there's scandals and there's cops and there's karate cats,
prostitution, everything.
Hell yeah.
Even King of Newark. Just like you said, people be like, "Yo, who's the King of Newark?" And they thinking it's a drug dealer, but it winds up being that you become the mayor of Newark. So I was gonna ask you what made you think of that and why? Like, do you have aspirations of ever becoming the mayor of Newark?
Like I said, when I got into the police force, I became very political. Like my godfather, he was the mayor's aide at one point. So I started dealing with councilmen. I had a guy brother. He became he was the first young councilman in the city of Newark. So I started watching the political. Then The Wire took off. Remember The Wire? It had, it was like so much corruption with The Wire and stuff like that. So it was like I just got creative with it. So I'm like, yo, I know what's going on in Newark. I know what's going on. And, people thought out, and then it crazy. I got stigma because people was like, yo, the new mayor had just came in 2014, Raz Baraka, and I supported him. But they was like, was that movie about him? Was that? I was like, no. Nah,
people always want to create.
Yeah, I always want to create. I'm like, and I'm like, nah, man, I don't even know him personally, like on his lifestyle stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I had my vision of the mayor and what went on in other administrations that tied into the character of Malcolm Graves,
Yeah,
So, yeah.
And the crime in the hood ain't only in the hood, you know.
Yeah.
Large majority is taking
Yeah.
place in these political
Like you said,
establishments.
we going
and
back
behind
from the
closed
mafia
doors.
days. They calling hits. You know, people getting contracts. They got to wipe out this person. This stuff is realistic. It's going all around the world, man.
The Sopranos and shit. That shit all
Yeah.
real, man.
I gotta ask you.
And then
Hold on,
also-
hold on,
Go ahead,
brother
go ahead.
Blood. This is an important question. You act in your own movies. You did kickboxing for 20 years. My bad. I'm stuck on the Fearless one. Were you in the Fearless one kicking some ass?
Yeah, I did think. But you know what? I do want to. I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, I know a lot of people. Me acting in my films for one. And I never looked at myself. I tried acting when I was younger. I remember coming to New York, being on some auditions. It's just like, you know, you got to have no life to be over here all day. And it was just like, you know, I tried it. I did a little commercials when I was younger. But when I did Living With No Regrets, the way I had the main character was like somewhat with my life characteristics.
Right.
Single father, you know, raising a son and all that. Was in martial arts and stuff like that. I didn't, when I was casting, I really didn't see nobody I was happy with to play that character. So I tried it. I gave it a try. People doubted me. And I got some acting coaching, you know, some lessons, and I wanted to develop that. Like people say you develop, and I started liking it. Like I like doing it, but it's something that I don't want to do. Like because it's hard to do your own projects,
Right.
and you know, you executive producer, you got to worry about scheduling, location, food. It's no really time to get into the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause you want to be like, what's it called? When a method actor.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to get in the zone and stay in the zone for the
Exactly.
film. But
Exactly.
you have so many responsibilities
Yeah.
pulling you here
I
and
mean,
there.
like I would do something like 50 do now. He pops in, do a
Right,
little cameo,
right.
get a little. But I don't want it. Like I played the main character, and I think some of that sometimes it might have hurted my film. It might have hurt the
Right,
project because
right.
you know, especially the ones that know you, they looking at you as this. They don't really look at you as is he that cat? Can he be? Did he pull that character off? But then I look at myself and say, nah, I could have had a better Malcolm Graves.
and you're always going to be toughest on yourself.
Absolutely,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
No
always-
matter what performance you put in, you'll
yeah,
always
yeah.
see and
You always
focus
see
on the
something.
errors.
Yeah.
All right, brother Blood. I'm sorry. What was your question?
It was dope to see you as Malcolm Graves, though. I liked it. I was gonna say that so you know, some people would probably think, hey, you know, being the mayor is like an attainable feat. You feel me, for someone from the hood, but it's really not, because I've witnessed it firsthand. Like I've had people I grew up with become the mayor of our town or our city.
Yeah.
You know, and in different circles, you know, different towns and different cities, and it's happened. So it's something that's attainable. It's not out of the question. So I can see how, you know, the story is realistic.
Yeah, and all honesty, like I said, and I know that job description, like, you know, shout out to my mayor, Raz Baraka. Like, you know, born and raised in Newark, his father was an activist. I mean, he's been digging and digging in that, trying to be the mayor for a while. He was a councilman. You know, people think it's easy. Oh, you know, he just getting paid. Them jobs is tough, man. Yeah. I can imagine his schedule running. And let me tell you something. Out of a lot of mayors that I came under 3 different administrations. This mayor, man, he go to different meetings all day. He dedicates his time. It's hard, but we getting judged by, and it's not about what he does, it's the people around you. Yeah. Just because you the mayor, you of course you bring a couple people and you're gonna give people opportunities. Sometimes it's those that mess it up. Like you said, like a bad cop. It's that one cop that put that whole stigma. But you know, he doing his thing, and people don't realize what people go through, and it is challenging because people are trying to cut deals, come at you. Yeah. Some people are trying to offer you, and the temptation is there. You know, so it's like, you're gonna do this? Is it worth doing this, or you just gonna say, you know, you're gonna think you get away with it, then you get caught? But nah, I mean, he's a straight guy, straight shooter. We all gonna be judged. Somebody always gonna have something to say about you.
That's what I was just gonna say. The criticism. Imagine having to do your job where you're constantly under a microscope. Yeah, it makes your life harder.
Yeah, but
every action is
But
harder.
you know what though? Even with me, like when I post, and I seen people, I might post a trailer of King of Newark, and you might get a dummy page, and say, "Oh, that movie look low budget," or "That movie was this." Oh, I heard this a lot. You called the King of Newark, but it was nobody from Newark in there. Hey, we did a casting call. Can't help if New York came out. I can't help if other people came out. I shoot a movie for everybody. They come out and they cast and they get the role. They're gonna be in the movie. Yeah. You know. So with my point,
Dude was in it. People from Newark gotta recognize Dude.
Yeah, Dude was in my he was in Living with No Regrets, and he was in King of North too as well. Yeah.
Right.
It's not your fault if Newark doesn't come out to be in Newark shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's here.
What can I do?
And I didn't shoot it. I didn't make a movie just for Newark. I didn't make a movie. It was just the title was called King of Newark. Yeah. So, it is what it is, man.
And for everybody interested, go to royalfamilyfilmscorp.com so you can see all the movies that are coming out, all the movies that have come out, all the trailers, who's in what, where to find it, where to stream it. You can also reach out and connect with the brother Alonzo, and I do believe he's taking submissions. So if you got an idea and something maybe you want to try to put out with his help, or even just his guidance, because I'm sure
guidance,
you're willing to help people
always, all the time.
And that's a beautiful thing. Now, like I said, we have a premiere going down February 24th, Newark Citiplex Theater. We're premiering A Father's Pride. Now, you said this one is going down a different road as opposed to the hood, violence, drug dealing, and as opposed to the karate. Now we got a church.
Yeah, almost like a faith-based but family, urban. Two brothers growing up. Their father's a pastor. One is following his father's footsteps. The other, he's in the streets. And there's it's a redemption story. So there's a lot of trials and tribulations. The father finds out he has stage 3 cancer, and he expects certain things from his son to go down in place, which in some terms in real life, we be like, that ain't gonna never happen, But at the end of the day, it's still another real life stories that goes on every day in our hood.
Absolutely.
So I want to step out, show, because a lot of times, a lot of people, even with this film, a lot of people are like, oh, you should show that. And I said, and I was a little like in the editing room, like, maybe we should do that. Then I talk to people who say, people want to know, oh, you were saved. You saved by Christ. But how was you really saved? What made you really become to say, I follow Christ now, you know? And it wasn't just, it wasn't maybe that guy who had that gun in your head and he clicked that trigger and that bullet wasn't there. That was your calling right there.
That coming to Jesus moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Or that prostitute, that was strung out on drugs and all that. Now, X, Y, Z. So I wanted to tell the story where I felt that how we do become changing over instead of just saying, oh, they saved, hallelujah, God is good and all that. No, let's keep it real and be honest. Less cursing and all the sex thing, but let's get to the real deal and tell a good story.
And that's the more interesting part of the story.
Exactly.
Once you're saved, everything after that's boring.
Yeah.
Exactly. You in church every day, you go home. No, I want to know the before, the interesting, the sex and the drugs,
the struggle,
and
the struggle. Exactly. How to get there.
There's beauty in the struggle.
Exactly.
Damn, Burnz.
Yo, I'm just telling you what interests me, but I'm gonna be honest. This one sounds like the tear jerker.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. A lot of people feel that.
And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. We all need a good cry here and there. I love me a sad movie that touches your emotions. And like you said, if it's a redemption story, that means you're gonna go through the valley to rise to the top of the mountain. And that's always a beautiful thing. That's always appreciated. And shout out to all the pastors in these churches, in the hood, out the hood, whatever. Everybody making a difference. Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Steve. He always holds me down.
Yes.
And he's like my therapist, so I fuck with him heavy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But other than, all right, so you say you got, I know we got a Teacher's Pride dropping February 24th.
Father's Pride.
If you got, excuse me, a Father's Pride dropping February 24th. If you got some extra tickets, we'll gladly take them.
Absolutely. We'll leave some tickets with y'all.
Yes,
bring the camp out. You know.
Sir. And then you said you got the Fearless Part 3 dropping in June?
Yeah. During the pandemic, when everybody was shut down, I was fortunate enough to shoot 3 films. So
nice.
We shot A Second Chance. We shot that first. We got that out. we didn't release it yet because I was going to do a Father's Pride and a Second Chance, shop it together.
Okay.
So those two movies that's going to come, we shop together. But we wind up doing, like I said, the Fearless 3. You know, Fearless 3, which is this is you got to see Fearless 1 and 2,
Right.
because when you see this story, it's about his daughter. Like 20 years, 16 years later.
Oh, nice.
So it's a good story, man. I actually got, and now the guy who I was trying to get to work with in the Fearless 1, I wound up getting him to finally commit the Fearless 3, which was
There you go.
Ty Mack from The Last Dragon.
Oh shit! My number one favorite movie. I'm the Puerto Rican Last Dragon.
Bruce Leroy, baby.
No shit. Damn, he hasn't made a movie since The Last Dragon.
Yeah,
right?
man, but he's still riding at 30. It's 30-some years. He's still at the Comic Cons and all. Yeah,
Hell
He
yeah.
still got the
Damn,
glow.
now you
Yeah.
got the glow.
yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy. As much as I talk, if you listen to our past episodes,
Yeah.
I talk about that movie, the soundtrack, the
Oh
glow,
man, so yeah.
everything.
So when you
Wow,
come
that's
out,
awesome.
when you come out Thursday, we showing the trailer for the Fearless 3. So it's gonna be
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Wow,
So
that's a
that's-
big
so
deal, man.
that's-
Shout out to
Hey.
Time at Work.
Yes.
That's awesome. And then that's in June. And then anything else to round out the year?
Yeah. We actually just committed to doing a comedy movie. I want to complete my circle. I got a comedy movie and I got a horror that I want to do.
Yes.
But the comedy
shit.
I'm commit to. I don't know if you know the character, the comedian Mr. Commodore.
Yeah,
Yes.
he had a
Yeah.
web
Yo,
series.
from Harlem.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
So yeah.
He does the jail guy.
Yeah. Fresh
Yeah,
out.
Fresh out. Yeah. I don't mind going back.
Yeah. So yeah, I had met Commodore some time ago during the pandemic, and he actually played a cameo in the Second Chance. But yeah, we sat down and I saw his craft, and you know what's funny about this guy, man? Humble kid. You know, like I didn't even know who he was. I remember I met him and the guy was like, "Yo, that's the guy from Instagram." That's the guy. And then we started talking. And then we did a comedy show like 6 months ago. I'm talking about walking through the hood, man. This guy's like, you would think he had Denzel Washington, man.
No shit.
Everybody knows
fucking
him.
hilarious.
Everybody
He's fucking
knows
crazy.
him, man.
No shit.
So yeah, you know, he had a vision of a story he wanted to tell. We got with my script guy. Shout out to Julius Burrows from Brooklyn, and we put the script together, and I'm committed to the film. So we're
that's
gonna do that.
awesome.
So it's something like, you know, we're trying to bring out that next Friday, man. That next Good Friday.
Yo, I
and he's a
cannot wait to
funny
see
cat.
that shit.
Word.
Yeah.
I discovered him he had a web series a long time ago. I think it was called 125.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
before
the
he
hood.
was known as Mr. Commodore, he
Yeah.
was whatever his name is. And he did his thing. He rocked it.
Yeah.
And then he got on Instagram. He started doing all his shit. So wow, to see
Fucking
his
funny.
come up and now to know y'all partners.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yo, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what's
Yeah,
the name of
word.
that one?
And
It has a name?
Not My Day.
Not My Day.
Yeah.
And shout out to his wife because she's funny as fuck. too.
Oh
Miss
yeah.
Emmanuel.
And you know what?
She's
Not
funny
even
as
just
fuck.
that she's funny. Let me tell you something. And I told him I got to tell her. But you know, they're a good example for a couple, man. How they
Right.
get together.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but they connect in so many ways, man. They could, and just talking to him, even when he's not around his wife. You know how we have our grown, and he just be like, yo, man, you know, she compliment me. You know, I push her. You know, I don't be easy on her, and she's gonna be in the movie. But like he said, listen, man, I'm gonna give you that direction. You gonna have. He told her, you gonna cast for the role. You're not gonna just get it. You gonna cast. So he was like, Lonzo, you know, we're not gonna be easy. But you know, he's very serious about this, and he's want to make a good project. So I want to support him and we're gonna make it go on.
Absolutely, and that's how it should be. Your partner should push you, and you should push your partner.
Absolutely.
And together you achieve greatness. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
beautiful story. Shout out to Mr. Commodore. Shout out to his old web series. Shout out to the new movie gonna drop towards the end of the year.
Yes.
I can't
Not
wait.
Your Day, you said, right?
Not My Day.
Not My Day. Not
Yeah.
My Day.
Oh shit.
That's gonna be fucking awesome. Wow. And then to round out your what's it called in baseball when they do one of each?
Oh, you're not Triple Crown. What's the word?
Cycle.
The cycle.
The cycle. Yes.
All right. So to round out your cycle would be the horror movie.
Yeah, I want to do it. I have the horror script. It's been done for almost about a year and a half, but it takes a bite. It's going to the way it's needed done is crazy. It's it's gonna be different, man.
Yeah.
This
But
one is
will
different.
it take place in the hood? Is it a hood horror?
No, it's not a hood one. It's not a hood one. It's more like a Poconos or like a Airbnb retreat.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
but it's like
Okay.
everything happens at like one location
Right.
mainly. But it's going. The story is crazy, man.
Dope.
Yeah.
Look forward to that, man.
Yeah, because I like the
Yeah.
old classic, like the Friday 13,
Yeah,
when you
hell
get
yeah.
killed, nobody talking, all that laughing and joking.
That's
like,
another thing about Tubi. They got all the classic
yeah, they got all the
80s
classics.
slasher
Yeah.
goers. I'll be on there loving all that shit, man. But shout out to them. Shout out to you, my brother Alonzo Herran Jr. Thank you for coming up today.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure.
Much success to you.
Yeah.
Shout out to your son.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody you work with. Everybody, make sure you're following Alonzo Herran Jr. That's at H Royal Family. Make sure you go to royalfamilyfilmscorp.com. Check out the films. Make sure you go to Tubi, stream them films. You got A Second Chance, Father's Pride dropping. You got Fearless 1, Fearless 2, The King of Newark, The King of Newark 2. The King of Newark 2 is a series. It's not a movie, so
Yes.
make sure you catch all the episodes. Not My Day is going to drop later this year. Go to Amazon, pick up the books. If you need a house, Willow Tree Group.
Yeah.
He'll teach you how to fight if you need some karate lessons.
Go to his dojo.
This is the first person to meet both of the Last Dragons.
Word up.
Oh my god.
Tell him I said there could only be one.
He gonna come over here and slap you.
Nah, man, but shout out to that. Yo, that really made my day, man. For real.
Nah,
The
that's
fucking
what's up.
Last Dragon. That's crazy.
Nigga, you ain't catching no bullets with your teeth.
Hey, if Alonzo's producing and directing,
Yeah.
I am shit. Now, before we let you go, brother, we're gonna go to a segment. It's called 10 Shots with VS. This is VS. He'll explain it to you.
I'm gonna ask you 10 rapid fire questions. You just ask them with minimal, answer them with minimal thought, and we'll go back once we're done. We'll go back and circle around.
Gotcha.
All right. So number 10, better director in your opinion, Spike Lee or John Singleton?
Spike Lee.
Okay. Better movie in your opinion, Fresh, Juice, or Clockers?
Juice.
What's your favorite genre of the film? Drama, horror, hood movies, action films like you did, like the karate films?
Drama.
Drama? All right, cool. Better author in your opinion, Dutch or Donald Goines?
Dutch.
All right. Jersey Edition, better group, Lords of the Underground, Naughty by Nature, or the Fugees?
Those are underground.
Okay. Better album in your opinion, 36 Chambers or Wu-Tang Forever?
36 Chambers.
Okay. Better movie, King of New York or New Jack City?
New Jack City.
Better show, The Wire or The Sopranos?
Sopranos.
Okay. Better actor in your opinion, DMX or Tupac?
DMX.
Who's the best rapper, Nas or Jay-Z?
Nas or Jay-Z? Jay-Z.
And there it is, 10 shots with VS to the
10
OP.
shots with
That was a good one.
It was. Let's see.
Good questions.
Spike Lee over John Singleton. I could dig that.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love Spike
Rest in
Lee.
peace, John Singleton.
Yes,
Yeah.
rest in peace, John
Yeah.
Singleton.
He had classics, but I mean Spike Lee, man, he just.
And then he
hits
switched
different.
up on some ideas later on when he had his from his original budgets to doing big things. You can see his mental was different. Like,
Yeah.
he switched up.
He started shooting differently,
Yeah,
but still,
he got better.
Yeah, but still, like the core classics, like Do the Right Thing, even all the way up into He Got Game.
He got gang, yeah.
That
He Got
movie
Game was crazy.
that was a movie that came later, but still was shot in the old way he used to shoot
Yeah.
movies and shit. Was dope, man.
I still say Crooklyn, bro. Something about Crooklyn.
Crooklyn too. Crooklyn is
Yo,
fire.
that
yeah.
shit makes me cry every time, bro. It don't fail.
I don't drink no milk though.
For real. Let's see. Juice, that's probably one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
The dramas. I'm a little surprised. Dramas, I feel they would be more emotionally draining to even film.
Yeah.
For you to say that's your favorite.
It's a lot to it. It's complex.
Right?
I say. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
especially if you're into
Yeah,
your
yeah.
characters and
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that shit gotta
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah,
your soul.
Yeah.
Jackson.
Dutch over
It's a tougher genre. Yeah, absolutely.
what was the name?
Donald Goines.
Donald Goines, yes. Damn, Donald Goines is a classic.
Hell yeah.
Author, but Dutch, man.
Nah, that's what's up.
Even his books that are not as well known, he got a book, I think it's called something Sam, Old Man Sam.
I read like a couple of his books.
He got a few books that I got in the stash, man. I love every single one.
That's what's up.
Lords of the Underground, classic group, man.
Yeah.
They were all classics, so any answer would have been.
Yeah,
that was the same era.
Yeah.
That's what I was pumping. But
Any
Lords of the
answer would have
Ground,
been the right answer.
Yeah.
36 Chambers over Wu-Tang Forever. Again, any answer is the right answer. New Jack City, that's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Even the way it's shot, the funniest thing about New Jack City, man,
it's almost like a cartoon.
the hairdos,
Yeah.
the Gumbies,
Yeah.
Oh my god,
That's what I was saying about Class Act. I'm looking at like your kid, like looking at play haircut. I'm like,
Man, funny.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
and Chris Rock in New Jack City.
Oh yeah,
Word.
the Pookie.
classic, yeah, bro, classic. And even G Money. For some reason, I think G Money played his role wonderfully in that.
Exactly.
movie.
And I really
he
thought he
fully
was going
do.
to take off to a different. I thought he was going to really take off.
I
after,
thought so too.
Yeah.
He didn't really achieve
He
that.
did that, and then he did
Jason's lyrics.
Jason Lyrics is really like
he
and
didn't do
then
much.
you know what movie was good of his? That is kind of slept on. You ever heard of Blue Hill Avenue?
Yeah, Blue Hill where they
that
played.
was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Sopranos over The Wire. I'm very surprised, but
They
I've
both
never
was- no,
watched
it was-
Sopranos.
Nah, you've never
Wire.
watched Sopranos?
Not one.
No,
of
it was
good.
funny.
It's
I
good.
didn't get into the Sopranos till like the third or fourth season. Then I went back, but I guess because I was always amused by the mafia and where the way they ran, how they handle business,
They structure and all that.
And it's
yeah.
Jersey.
It's Jersey.
Yeah,
They're Newark.
It's
half
Newark.
the
It's
time.
basically Newark.
True
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
True indeed. DMX, Pac, again, no wrong answer.
Yeah,
J
yeah.
Nas, no wrong answer. Although I would have went with J2 because
Yeah,
he's the GOAT. That's the way it is.
that's true.
Brother Alonzo, thank you for coming up here today,
Always a
man.
pleasure, man.
Much success. Everybody, A Father's Pride drops 224 Newark Citiplex.
Right.
Get your tickets.
Yeah, get them on Eventbrite.
Go check that.
Eventbrite. Go to RoyalFamilyFilmsCorp.com. Follow H Royal Family. Ed, you want to give any shout outs before?
Yeah,
before
just
we
a
sign
shout
off?
out to the whole Father's Pride crew, from the director Jamal Hall, the producers Shanita Strong, Fatima Jones, and you got Lisa Brunson, and Terrell Hicks is in the movie as a producer as well. To the crew, Quiz, Riley, I appreciate you, Mandela, and all the actors that's been a part of this project. Sean Nelson, Murder Mook in there too as well. So yeah, just appreciate y'all coming out Thursday 24th. Spread the word, tag someone. That's the freest thing you could do for a person. Repost.
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the best support, especially
don't cost
for
nothing either.
Independent artists, up and coming artists, for your friends. Shit,
Word.
show some fucking support, y'all. Damn.
Word.
Yeah.
Let's
Terrell
support.
Hicks, Blood. You know who that is?
Hell yeah.
All right.
I don't know no damn Tiana.
Just checking.
Do what?
Brother Blood, you got any sign offs, my bro?
Yo, definitely. Yo, what a fucking fly show. You know I'm a cinephile. And, I got aspirations of jumping into the movie industry and the movie business. So this was definitely a pleasure. It was definitely my pleasure. And looking forward to a lot of big things coming from you, my brother. Keep doing your thing, Alonzo. I can't wait to see Not My Day with Mr. Commodore. That's my motherfucking nigga. He got all the feelings. And everybody, make sure you catch that series, King of Newark Part 2. If anything, just for Sophia the body that's in there. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this guy.
But,
he's going to get
know what I
murdered.
mean?
Oh yeah.
Catch that. You heard?
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. And Brother VS?
VS to the OP, another great episode, man. Episode 98, man. We doing it, man.
Absolutely. Hey, Blood, make sure you're following H Royal Family and DM them, because I know you got some
ideas.
What's that called?
Screenplays.
Screenplays. Yeah.
Screenplay. Oh, yeah,
definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, no, we definitely going to connect. We're going to link.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Gotcha.
Much continued success, Lonzo, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, shout out to the brother Alonzo. Make sure you're following him, H Royal Family. Make sure you follow RoyalFamilyFilmsCorp.com. Make sure y'all go get your tickets for A Father's Pride, 224 Newark Citiplex. If you're not able to make it that day, make sure you're on the lookout for what streaming service it hits, and then you go stream the fuck out of it. Be on the lookout for all the other films coming out. I think that's it. So we're going to end with the love song of the week. We did our Valentine's Day playlist last
Yeah.
episode. We got some good feedback. Shout out to that. So we got to keep it in that vein. So we're gonna go back to Mary J.
Oh,
This
love.
is featuring Nas. This is one of the more slept-on tracks that they collaborated on.
Okay.
It actually dropped fairly recently. You should be able to place the sample. This is called "Feel Inside." It's the M. Burnz Love Song of the Week for episode 98 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast.
Chill.
As
Getting
always,
feel.
shout out to the ladies, shout out to the wives, shout out to the sisters, the moms, the grandmas, shout out to the thotties and the side pieces, shout out to the teachers and the strippers, the bartenders, the flight attendants. This is episode 98 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. As always, chin up, chest out, carry yourself with honor, carry yourself with pride. This is my music. Love each other. Nas ripping it, turn it up. Roll your windows down, fuck it if it's still cold.
Catch that draft.
Shout out to all the ex-wifeys. Mary.
Say less.